Looks like we're going to have to register you as a lethal weapon. We're rich again.
When you lose your love and it makes your life turn cold, when it tears you apart, your heart and soul just can't go on.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here and welcome to my review of Lethal Weapon. This is technically the 4-film set, so you're going to see that 3 more times. It's going to feature films 2, 3 and 4 as well as film 1. So, Lethal Weapon, the 1987 action crime drama buddy cop film starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. Now this is a really great film. I don't think it's completely perfect, but I think it's a really great film and spawned a really great series. The plot sees a young girl commit suicide, so homicide detective Murtaugh and it is paired with another homicide detective, Riggs, to investigate, and they eventually discover that the girl's father was part of a drugs cartel gang, and bit by bit they uncover secrets about the cartel run by former military people and try to get rid of, try to kill them for their crimes basically. So that is basically the plot of Lethal Weapon. The film itself is a really well executed, and also we've got a subplot. Riggs is mentally unstable as he's partially suicidal due to the death of his wife, so he's a bit depressed and suicidal with that. By the end of the film I think he's not quite gotten over it, but he's gotten a hold of himself, so he's able to control himself a bit better, and he's not so willing to put himself in the line of fire as much as he was before. Well, he's willing to put himself in the line of fire, just not as much of doesn't have as much of a death wish. We've got some really great performances from Mel Gibson as Martin Riggs and Danny Glover as Roger Murtaugh, who do great performances, and also Gary Busey as Joshua. He's a really standout performance. You may remember him from Predator 2. Surprisingly, I saw the later film Predator 2 before this one. I didn't actually make a connection between them. Whoops. Oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, they do all great performances. They're probably the best performance-wise. There isn't as much of a standout performance. I do think some of the regulars are going to get better as we go along. Like the chief is going to become a bit more important in later films, so we're going to see a bit more of him. Same with the Murtaugh family. And I think their performances are going to improve. I'm not going to slant on anyone, don't worry, they're all good performances. Execution-wise, it looks brilliant. There is some really great shots, especially from helicopters or from crane. Actually, I'm not sure about the crane. Lots of really great shots looking down from the sky, so probably from a helicopter, and in some cases looking up from the ground, like looking up at the building where this guy is going to commit suicide from, or was thinking about it. And also the opening sequence has a kind of a helicopter flying around part of the LA buildings till it eyes itself on one open window, which is where we see the suicide. So, well, where the suicide would be taking place. And that's actually a pretty creepy track that follows the Jingle Bell Rocks song. It's a bit creepy. If it wasn't for this scene, you might think it's from a horror film. or a very scary Christmas one. Yeah, the jump itself was also really well executed, and stunts are brilliant in this film, as is the practical effects. They do a really good job. I don't know if there's many visual effects. There might be for some of the more dangerous stuff, but it looks very practical, very real, and it's made to look very dark and not, well, I wouldn't say dark. It's actually it's part comedy, so it's actually a bit lighter in some cases, but very realistic and pretty. Well, it can be dark in some places, like the electric torture, but still really good, and has lots of great moments, and is a brilliantly executed film. If I was to say anything negative, I'm not sure. I don't think it's 100% perfect. I think some of the improvements could be better, but I think performances from not the main two cast, or from the main henchman. The main villain himself isn't as much of a memorable villain as his number one henchman. I think he could have had a bit more of a presence. I also think the performances of Murdoch's wife and daughter eldest daughter, will improve in later films when they appear more. The younger daughter and the son are just kids at the moment, so they're going to improve as well. They're going to have better moments in the film series as well, and in some cases a bit more personal. Both the scenes where the older daughter was in danger would be a kind of a tense moment for the characters, and bit by bit the script is really good at building the character development across the film, especially at the start when they're showing us the characters and then meeting up and then teaming up. So overall it's a brilliantly written and shot film. I just don't think it's quite perfect. Also, another thing, no, I think that was it. I think that was it, actually. I didn't really have much negatives, but I don't think it's quite a 10 out of 10, not really. I think it's very good. I think it came very close, but I don't think it's 100% perfect. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Killing you, that's the lasting love who's ever meant to do. Become a lethal weapon.
I still think it's a great film and a cult classic, and I think they've done an amazing job with it. So that was Lethal Weapon, a really great film, and like Predator, a kind of a action comedy cult classic. Okay, Predator wasn't a action comedy cult classic. That was a action sci-fi cult classic. This one's a action comedy cult classic. So yeah, Lethal Weapon. It was a great film, and we'll definitely be going through the other 3 films of this series when we can. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
You know there is no hope of breaking free from what you suffer heavily. That's when love itself becomes a lethal weapon.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. Excuse me. So, yeah, that's Lethal Weapon, the original film. That was awful. So, next time we will be looking at... So, had a really great time. So yeah, Lethal Weapon. Brilliant. Next time we'll be looking at... We're rich again.